As we track Hurricane Dorian's exact path, shelters across Florida are getting ready for the worst case scenario. Here to talk about what you need to know if you're going to a shelter is American Red Cross Representative Christian Smith. Good morning to you, Christian. Thanks for joining us.
Of course.
You woke up to the news that the track had shifted slightly to the east. So potential landfall to Florida looks maybe like it won't happen, but that doesn't mean that it won't.
Right. Well, and it's still early in the season, so
Right.
if it's not now, maybe later. So we never want to take our eye off, no pun intended, eye off the storm.
And I know you guys are always in high gear this time of year anyway, preparing for the worst case scenario. When people go to a shelter, what do they need to keep in mind, especially if they've never been to one before?
Well, so, right here in our immediate area, especially if you're going to go into Duval County shelter, so I'll just start there basically. You want to bring those basic necessities. You want to bring things like your sleeping bags, your pillows, your blankets, because you're just going to get a space on the floor. So it's very bare minimal accommodations. We're going to have your basic food and your basic first aid there, but if you have any kind of special dietary needs or if you have special treats or things, then you're going to want to bring those things with you. Bring your kit with you, but keep it in the car. But then think about, all those kinds of things that you want to have in your kit. You just don't want to bring that inside. So, but when you're coming into a shelter like here locally, then you can be prepared that way. If for some reason you're looking across the state, sometimes you'll see us open shelters that are considered where there's no services. Okay, so we don't really call them shelters, we call those evacuation centers. So when you go into an evacuation center, that is a last minute, there's nothing there, there's no resources, it's everything bring your own. And that's just like what we saw during Irma, where hundreds and thousands of people came across the state, went into these shelters last minute. We were scheduled to open about 150 in the state of Florida. Red Cross alone opened over 400.
Oh my gosh.
So there is a distinction between a shelter that has services and then an evacuation center that has nothing but a safe place.
Nevertheless, you should be prepared. I know I saw on the screen there that you should bring a can opener.
Yeah.
You should bring non-perishable food items and also things like peanut butter and jelly, bread, things like that.
Well, Bruce doesn't like the peanut butter because he thinks that makes you too thirsty. But in general, yes. So anytime you can get things in a can, with a pop top, that's ideal. But those cost a little bit more. So having that manual can opener matters. The other thing that matters is if you don't like Spam today, if you don't like sardines today, don't buy those kinds of things. Don't think of this like this is not Gilligan's Island. It's still time. I know the shelves are getting, but they're going to restock. So go get the things you and your family like. Test them out. Maybe it's SpaghettiOs. Maybe it's Chef Boyardee spaghetti, whatever it may be. Try those things now. Get the tuna, get the cocktail, fruit cocktails, things that they like to eat today, they will eat during the storm. But if you buy things that you don't normally eat, they're not going to want those.
That's a very good point. The kids aren't going to eat things that not at this time especially.
That's right.
When you're all under stress.
And the kids, that's another great point too. When you're coming into whatever kind of place you're going to, whether you're going to friends and family, you're going to stay in your home or a shelter, think about what are you going to do with the kids? Take all of your old electronics, your old Blackberries, your old cell phones, all those things that we have in a drawer somewhere, plug all those in now, have those all ready so that these can be the things that they play with and those can be the things that they're doing their games and things on. Don't let them use your primary things. Those are the ones you want to hold on to for communication back and forth and for the emergency.
That's a very good point. Also,
games,
games, cards, whatnot.
Something to do.
What are things that you should not be bringing to the shelters?
Well, obviously no weapons, no alcohol, nothing that that would be inappropriate to come into. But also, you don't want to be bringing all of your life. Like we talked about your kit, you want to keep your kit in the car. So, if people that choose to, bring more things inside your cars, some people bring their TV, some people bring laptops, and they bring all kind of, equipment and things. Those kind of things you want to leave in your vehicle. When you come into the sheltering environment, that's for you and your family, and it's pretty small space, so it's really limited to those basic necessities.
And keep in mind, as you said, sleeping bag is a must because no cots are provided. I think people have a misconception that there will be a cot there. Usually not a cot.
Well, there are some cots, I want to clarify that, but they're not for everyone. We only have a certain amount.
Right.
So, maybe someone's has a bad leg or maybe someone is pregnant. So we have a stash in every area, but it would be it just would be impossible for us to have cots for everyone.
We've got to go, but are there any evacuation centers set up yet in Duval and in the surrounding areas?
Nope, and pay attention to you guys, and when that happens, if it's necessary, you guys will be the first to know.
Thanks so much, Christian.
Of course.
All right, and for everything you need to know to plan and get ready, head to newsforjax.com/Dorian. You'll find the latest, most up-to-date information about the track and more to get ready before, during, and after the storm.